the first bone of the upper extremities. We have here is the clavicle, what we call collarbones. It is structured an S-shaped bones that located on the anterior side of the shoulder. It connects medially to the sternum, part of the axial skeleton, and laterally to the scapula at the acromion process. It serves as a strut to hold the scapula and arm away from thorax, allowing for increased arm mobility. It also protects neurovascular structures and serves as the attachment for muscle, the scapula, what we call shoulder blades. The scapula is a flat, triangular bones found at the back of our chest. It has surfaces, border, angles, and process like the spine, acromion, and coracoid. The acromion connects with the clavicle. Its main function is to serve as an attachment for muscles form the shoulder joint with the humerus and allow shoulder movements such as raising or lowering, pushing forward, or pulling back and rotating. Humerus, upper arm bones, a long bones with a proximal rounded head that articulates with the glenoid cavity of the scapula, a sharp and a distal and that articulate with the radius and ulna at the elbow. It forms the shoulders point proximately and the elbow joints, distally following for arm flexions, extensions, rotations, and elbow movements. We have the radius lateral forearms bones. One of the two forearm bones located at the thumb side with a head articulating with the humerus and ulna. A sharp and a distal end, they articulates with the carpal bones. Well, it's allow for arms rotations, like for example, pronations and supinations. It articulates with the carpal bones to form a wrist joint. Ulna, a medial forearm bones. Medially located forearms bones with a proximal olecraniums, elbow tip. The trochlear notch for the humerus articulations. Coracoid process sharp with anterosseous border and a distal end with a styloid process. Well, it provides stability to forearms forms and the main hinge joints with the humerus at the elbow, carpal bones, wrist bones. 8 and small bones organized in 2 rows, proximal and distal. Well, it facilitates wrist movements and articulations with the radius distribution forces from the hand to the forearm. Muscles of upper extremities. We have here the pectoralis major, a broad fan-shaped muscle of the anterior chest wall with 3 parts, clavicular, external costal, and abdominal parts. It originates from the clavicle, sternum, costal cartilage of ribs 1 to 6. In the spontaneous of the external oblique muscles, inserting into lateral lips of intervertebral sulcus of the humerus. Well, it's responsible for an arm adductions, internal rotations, and flexions, clavicular head, as well as extensions of the flex arms. Also helps draw the scapula anterofreoli. Latissimus dorsi, a large flat muscles on the back originating from spinal columns, pelvis, ribs, and scapula, and inserting into the humerus. Well, it extends, adducts, and internally rotates the shoulder joint. Deltoid, a triangular muscles covering the shoulder joints, originating from the clavicle and scapula, and inserting on the humerus. Its main function is the muscle for shoulder adductions, also involved of flexions, extensions, and internal rotation, intercalf muscles. Supraspinatus, infraspinatus, and teres minor, and subcupularis. Well, it forms muscles surrounding the shoulder joints. It stabilizes the shoulder joint and assists in shoulder rotation and adduction. Branchioradialis, a muscle of lateral forearms. Well, it flexes the forearms, especially during rapid movements or lifting an object. Here, the tricep branchii. It's large muscle with the three heads on the posterior arms, inserting on the olecranon of the ulna. Well, it extends the forearms at the elbow. Anconeus, a small muscle near the elbows. Well, it assists tricep in elbow extension. Here, the pronator muscles. It is a muscle located on the anterior forearms. It rotates the forearms to turn the palm downward pronations. Supinator, a muscle wrapping around the upper radius. Well, it supinates the forearms, turning the palm upward. Flexor pollicis longus originates on the anterior radius and internus membranes. Insert on the distal phalanx of the thumb, so it flexes the thumb. Tensor carpi radialis longus and brevis. It originates from lateral supracondylar ridge or longus and lateral epicondyle brevis. It's insert on the second and third metacarpals respectively. Well, extend and adduct the wrist. We have here the extensor digitorum. Originates from the lateral epicondyle. Insert on the extensor expansions of finger 2 to 5. Well, it extends the fingers and assists in wrist extension. Extensor digiti minimi originates from the lateral epicondyle. Insert on the extensor expansor of the fifth finger. Well, it extends the little finger. Hypotemor muscles. It's located at the base of the little fingers. It controls movements of the little finger, abductions, flexions, and opposition. Lumbricals. It originates from the tendons of flexor digitorum profundus. Insert on the extensor expansions of fingers. Well, it flexes the metacarphalanges joints and extend the interphalangeal joints, enabling delicate finger movements. Bicep branchii, two-headed muscles crossing the shoulder and elbow joints. Well, it flexes the forearms at the elbows, supinates the forearms, and assists in a shoulder flexion. Branchialis, a deep muscles beneath at the bicep branchii. Well, it's a powerful flexors of the forearms at the elbow. Flexor carpi radialis. It originates on the medial epicondyle at the humerus, insert at the base of the second and third metacarpals. Well, it flexes and adducts the wrist. Flexor carpi ulnaris. It originates from the medial epicondyle and electramiums. Insert at the pisiforms, humate, and the fifth metacarpals. It flexes and adducts the wrist. Palmaris longus originates from the medial epicondyles. Its tendons insert into the palmar aponeurosis. While it quickly flexes the wrist and tenses the palmar aponeurosis. Flexor digitorum superficialis originates from the medial epicondyle, corinoid process, and radius. Insert on the medial phalanges of finger 2 to 5. While it flexes the proximal interphalangeal joints and assists in wrist flexion. We have the extensor indicis. It originates on the posterior ulna insert to the extensor expansions of the index fingers. When it extends our index finger, Tanner muscles located at the base of the thumb control thumb movements, abduction, flexions, oppositions, and adductions, critical for grip and manipulation.
Okay guys, today we about to tackle is about joints of the upper extremity. Shoulder joints. Structural ball and socket joints form the numerical head and glenoid cavity of the scapula, supported by the relator of calf muscles, dilated labrum, joints capsule, and genonumerical ligaments. Yung function nyo guys, yung provide the wide range of the motion. Yung flexion, extension, adduction, rotation, yung parang ganun siya guys. And the high ability of the upper limb, yung dito na guys, yung joint dito sa atin guys. Next is elbow joint, yung dito. Elbow joint is hinge joint involving the humerus, radius, and ulna. Allows flexion and extension, parang ganun guys. Enables blending and straightening of arms. Next is radionular joints. Pivot joints allowing pronation and supination of the arm, like rotation for forearms to turn palm, parang ganun, up and down.
So now we'll be tackling about the major tendons and ligaments on the upper extremities. So first we have the biceps brachii tendons. So two tendons attaching the bicep muscles, one to the scapula and at the shoulder and one to the radius at the forearm. So its function is the elbow flexion and supination of the forearm. So next we have the triceps tendons. Attaches the triceps muscles to the olecranon of the ulna at the elbow, and the function is to elbow extension, like straightening the arm. Then we have the flexor tendons of the fingers. Includes tendons of the flexor digitorum profundus or FDP and flexor digitorum superficialis or FDS, and its function is flexion, which is bending of the fingers joints. Next we have the extensor tendons of the fingers. Includes extensor digitorium or the EDC and extensor indicis proprius or the EIP and extensor digiti minimi or EDM, and its function is to extension or the straightening of the fingers. Next we have the extensor pollicis longus or the EPL and extensor pollicis brevis or the EPB tendons. So the EPB muscle originated from the posterior surface of the radius and adjacent interosseous membrane. The EPB extends the thumb at the metacarpal joint and also helps extend and abduct the thumb at the carpo-metacarpal joint. Next, we have the abductor pollicis longus or the APL tendon. So the palmaris longus muscles originates from the medial epicondyle of the humerus via the common flexor tendon. Abducts the thumb, moves it away from the palm. This. Next, we have the palmaris longus tendons. The palmaris longus muscle originates from the medial epicondyle of the humerus via the common flexor tendon. So, this tension aids in enhancing grip by stabilizing the soft tissue of the palm. Next, we'll move to the major ligaments in the upper extremities. So, we have first the sternoclavicular ligaments or the anterior and posterior. These ligaments reinforce the sternoclavicular joint, which is a saddle type synovial joint between the clavicle and the monoburum of the sternum. So they provide stability since these joints has incongruous surfaces and few surrounding muscles. So the interclavicular ligament and costoclavicular ligament also support these joints superiorly and inferiorly respectively. So next, we have the coracolclavicular ligament, comprised of the conoid and trapezoid ligaments. It spans from the coracoid process of the scapula to the clavicle. It maintains the vertical stability of the acromioclavicular joint and prevents the superior dislocation of the clavicle. Next, we have the acromioclavicular ligament, or spanning the acromion to the clavicle. So it stabilizes the acromioclavicular joint horizontally with a superior or stronger and inferior part.
The major bones of the lower extremities. First, femur. Structure. The femur or thigh bone is the longest and strongest bone in the body. It has rounded the head that articulates with the acetabulum of the hip bone, forming the hip joint. Notable features include the neck crater, structure, lesser, trochanter, intertrochanteric line, and intertrochanteric crease. Function. It supports the weight of the body during standing. The motion provides attachment for many muscles and form hip and knee joints. And patella. Structure. The patella is a rhizomoid bone located within the tendon of the quadriceps muscle. Joint is the tight. Function. It protects the knee joint and improves the leverage of the tight muscle with extending the leg. And tibia. Structure. The tibia or shin bone is the larger and medial bone of the lower leg. It has explained proximal and with the medial and the lateral condyles that articulate with the femur to form the knee joint. Function. It is the main weight-bearing bone of the lower leg. Fibula. Structure. The fibula is the slider lateral bone of the lower leg, running parallel to the tibia. Function. It provides structure support to the leg but does not bear significant weight. It helps from the outer part of the ankle. And tarsal bones. Structure. 7 tarsal bones from the posterior part of the foot, including the talus, which articulates with the tibia and fibula to form the ankle joint, and the calcaneus heel bone. Function. Provide support and facilitate foot movements. And metatarsal bones. Structure. 5 metatarsal bones from the anterior part of the foot. Function. Support weight during standing and walking. And last, phalange. Structure. 14 bones in the toes, with a big toe having 2 phalanges and other toes having 3 each. Function. Facilitate balance and movement of the toes for walking and running.
Hello, my name is Rosminda M. Flores from BSES FSC 2B. So we will tackle about the major muscles of lower extremities. So first we have is the gluteal muscles. So the gluteal muscles is located in the buttock region. So it includes gluteus maximus, gluteus medius, and gluteus minimus.
So, the gluteus maximus is the largest muscle and is responsible for extension and lateral rotation of the hip. So, the gluteus medius and minimus primarily abduct and stabilize the pelvis during the walking. So, next we have is the thigh muscles. So, anterior group of the thigh muscles includes the quadriceps femoris group, which consists of rectus femoris, vastus lateralis, vastus medialis, and lastly the vastus intermedius and the sartorius. So the function of the thigh muscle is to extend the knee or the quadriceps and flex the hip or the femoris and the sartorius. So next we have is the leg muscles. So the anterior compartment of the leg muscles includes tibialis anterior, extensor hallucis longus, and the extensor digitorum longus. So the function of the leg muscles is to dorsiflex the foot and extend the toes. So the lateral compartment includes facialis or peroneus, longus, and febris. Next, we have is the leg muscles. So the anterior compartment of leg muscles includes tibialis anterior, extensor hallucis longus, and extensor digitorum longus. So its function is it dorsiflex the foot and extend the toes. So while the lateral compartment of leg muscles includes fibularis or peroneus, longus, and brevis. So its function is to invert and plantar flex the foot. So next we have is the posterior compartment of leg muscles. It includes gastrocnemius, soleus, plantaris, popliteus, tibialis posterior, flexor digitorum longus, and flexor hallucis longus. So its function is to plantar the flex of the foot, flex of the toes, and stabilize the legs.
Okay guys, next is hip joint or coxal joint. Between the pelvis acetabulum and the femur tight bone. This is type of ball and socket joint. Allows movement into multiple directions: flexion, extension, abduction, rotation, and circumduction. Support body weight during standing, walking, and running. Next is knee joint. Between the femur, tight bone, and tibia. Shin bone and patella, kneecap in front. This is type of hinge joint with slight rotation. Enables to flexion and extent of the leg. Provide support and stability for standing and movement. Act as shock absorber during walking or jumping. Next is ankle joint or taloctural joint. Between the tibia and fibula, lower leg bones, and the talus ankle bone. This type is hinge bone. Allows dorsiflexion, lifting of foot upward, and plantar flexion, pointing foot forward, downward. Provide balance and propulsion during walking and running. Next is subtalar joint. Between the talus and calcaneus heel bone. This type is gliding joint. Permits inversions, turning sole inwards, and inversion, turning sole outward. It is adjusting foot position and uneven surface. Next is tarsometatarsal joint. Between the tarsal bone, midfoot, and metatarsal bone, forefoot. This is type is plain gliding joints. Provide stability and flexibility of the foot arch. Help with weight transfer during walking. Next is metatarsophageal joints or MTP joints. Between the metatarsal bones and the proximal phalanges toes. This type is condyloid joints. Allow toe flexioning, flexion, extension, adduction, and abduction. Important for balance and push off in walking or running. Next is interphalangeal joints. Between the phalanges of toe, this type is hinge joints. Permit toe flexion and extension. Help maintain grip and stability of the foot.
Ligaments of lower extremities. First we have is the hip ligaments. So iliofemoral, pubofemoral, and ischiofemoral ligaments support the hip joint, or we call a ball and socket joint. So the structure of these are strong fibrous bands connecting the pelvis or ilium pubis ischium to the femur. So its function is they stabilize the hip, prevent excessive extension and rotation, and support weight during standing and movement. Next we have is the knee ligaments. So the major ligaments include the medial collateral ligaments or the MCL, lateral collateral ligaments or the LCL, and anterior cruciate ligament or the ACL. And lastly is the posterior cruciate ligament or the PCL. So its structure is made of dense collagenous connective tissue. These ligaments connect the femur to the tibia and fibula. So its functions are the MCL and LCL prevent side-to-side instability. The ACL and PCL prevent forward and backward displacement of the tibia relative to the femur. Collectively, they stabilize the hinge knee joint during flexion, extension, and slight rotation. Let's proceed to ankle ligaments. So ankle ligaments includes the deltoid ligament, medially, and several lateral ligaments like the anterior talofibular ligament, posterior stolofibular ligament, and the calcaneofibular ligaments. So its structures are strong fibrous bands connecting tibia and fibula to the tarsal bones. So its function is to provide medial and lateral stability to the ankle during movement and weight bearing, allowing flexibility but preventing excessive motion that can cause us injury.
And major tendons of lower extremities. First, quadriceps and patellar tendons. Structure. The quadriceps tendons connects the quadriceps muscle group to the patella kneecap, while the patellar tendons extend from the patella to the tibial tubercle. Function. They work together to extend the knee joint, crucial for standing, walking, running, and jumping. And iliotibial IT band tendon. Structure. A thick band of connective tissue running from the tensor fasciae late muscle on the hip down the lateral tight to the tibia. Function. Acts as a hip abductor and stabilize the knee laterally during movement. And hamstring tendons. Structure. Tendons of the hamstring muscle located at the posterior tight inserting on the tibia and fibula. Function. Facilitate knee flexion and hip extension. And Achilles tendon, the largest and strongest tendon in the body, to the calcaneus heel bone. Function: enables plantar flexion of the foot. Essential for walking, running, and jumping. Transmits powerful muscle force that can sustain loads up to 10 times body weight. And Achilles tendon structure: the largest and strongest tendon connecting the calf muscle, gastrocnemius, and soleus to the calcaneus heel bone. Function: enables plantar flexion, pointing the foot downward, essential for walking, running, and jumping. And tibialis anterior tendons structure: runs along the front of the shin and attach the medial side of the foot. Function: dorsiflex lifts the foot and inverts to the foot turns sole inwards. And peroneal fibularis tendons structure: peroneus, longus, and brevis tendons run along the outer side of the ankle to the foot. Function: invert and foot turn sole outward and assist in plantar flexion, stabilizing the foot. And last, extensor tendons includes extensor hallucis longus and exterius digitorum longus tendons which run across the top of the foot. Function: extend left the toes and dorsiflex the foot.